Jonathan Taylor will be traded to the Chicago Bears this season. Myles Garrett will reach 20 sacks this season. The Minnesota Vikings will win the NFC North. Those are just some of the bold claims that I ran across in regards to this upcoming 2026 season. That's what we're going to talk about. But before we talk about it, you already know you got to hear the music first.
Welcome to your number one spot for all NFL news and content, NFL Central.
What's going on, football fans, and welcome back into another episode of NFL Central, your number one spot for everything NFL. I'm your host here, Bobby, and I'm bringing you the latest around the NFL during the dry spot. But if you're tuned in, man, make sure you go ahead and hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. It's the easiest way to support the channel on our road to 1K. Now, some of those bold claims to kick off the episode came from ESPN's Ben Solak, and he made some bold claims. I thought that someone would be interested just to have, some football talk going on your beautiful day. I'm not going to go through the entire list, but it is on ESPN's website, and I thought that I took 4 from the article. I thought it was really, really interesting takes, and some of them, at least one of them that's on today's episode, is going to have me scratching my head. I'm not even going to lie to you. But I will provide the bold prediction, and I will also provide you with Ben's logic on why he believed this is a true possibility. Now, the first bold prediction that Ben placed out there was that Jonathan Taylor will be traded to the Chicago Bears. It is a lengthy, thought, but I only took certain portions of it. I just want to make that clear. He said that Jonathan Taylor is approaching the last year of his deal, so the Colts will need to decide if they want to give the 27-year-old a third big contract. And you can look, if they don't want to make those decisions, and with the injuries that are surrounding DeAndre Swift, though he had a huge season in 2025, one would think that the Chicago Bears will want a home run hitter like Jonathan Taylor. Now, if keeping it a buck, I'm a Bears fan. It just is what it is. I do love this game as a football watcher, an avid football watcher, a guy that likes to break down tape. A lot of guys that like a guy that likes to get heavy in on the draft conversations. But I'm a Bears fan. But this is a place where we can all come and talk football. And I think that will it be great to have Jonathan Taylor on the Chicago Bears? Let's just say, for the sake of discussion, the mid-season trade, they get Jonathan Taylor out. We probably swap with DeAndre Swift. And that is some exciting stuff because Jonathan Taylor is really, really like that. But my logic says I don't think this is something that's going to be happening, simply because I look at the Chicago Bears and their biggest need right now is edge rusher. I know the Chicago Bears right now are playing a wait and see game to see if guys like Montez Sweat is going to have another solid season, if a young talent in Austin Booker is going to be able to come off the edge and have a healthy season and really, really break out on the scene, and then really try to get some validation out of the offseason signing of last year, get some type of production out of Dayo Oyendingbo, who went out with an injury just after 8 games. So while this would sound like the perfect fit for the Chicago Bulls and Ben Johnson's run scheme, I just don't see it, bro. I just don't see it. The next claim is Myles Garrett will hit 20 sacks. Now, the last player that was NFL player to hit 20 sacks multiple times was J.J. Watt. He did it in 2012 and then again in 2014. Now, if Myles Garrett does this in consecutive seasons, this will be something that hasn't been done since 1946 or something like that, 46 and 47. And I think, honestly, y'all, it's a real possibility. I'm not even going to lie to y'all. I love this bold prediction. I think it's a real possibility. You look at all the additions on the Rams defense. They really said chuck those picks, and that back end, that defensive backfield with Trent McDuffie, Cam Curl, and bringing on some others, and you already had a solid pass rush now. And with the ability of that offense that is going to be explosive, Myles Garrett is going to have ample opportunity to get 20 sacks again. And I would imagine with the way that he is and his greatness, he's going to try to go out there and break his own sack record, which will be absolutely absurd if Myles Garrett can accomplish that. I think it's possible. I'm not even going to tote the line. I actually think this is happening. Like, I'm not even going to lie to you. Myles Garrett is getting his first opportunity in a winning, legit winning situation, not just a one-hit wonder. He's going to go out there in LA, and I think that as long as he remains healthy, he's going to have his best foot forward, and he's going to be able to dominate some games, close out some games, have a lot of opportunities to play make for the Los Angeles Rams. So I'm going to ride with that one. I ain't even going to lie to you, for sure. The next claim that Ben threw out there is that the Minnesota Vikings will win the NFC North. He said that he has the belief in, and I'm paraphrasing here. Again, it's really, really lengthy thoughts, really well thought out and typed out. But just paraphrasing at a number of things that were thrown out for him was that his belief in KOC as the head coach and going out there and being able to rehabilitate, either Kyler Murray or having some type of trust in JJ McCarthy and having the belief that he'll make the right decision at quarterback. And he said that within the NFC North division, this was one of his main hitters or his counterpoint. The only defense he trusts in the NFC North is the Minnesota Vikings and Brian Flores, who is literally one of the best, or if not the best, defensive coordinator in this league. And there is some truth to that. You have some questions surrounding Micah Parsons and when he's going to be available. They already in Green Bay are anticipating, that he'll be out for some time and may return closer to October. And then there's some other scenarios to where you're looking at the Green Bay Packers and just having belief that they didn't do so well, on the offensive side with losing some guys, and on the defensive side and the lack of resources that they had to add significant help. So I think that's a fair point to say that they, the defensive side, especially because when you look at the Detroit Lions, they have crazy work going on in that defensive backfield that nobody is really going to feel afraid of. In the Chicago Bears, to a fair point, the Chicago Bears have a huge question mark on their defensive line. They did go out there and make adjustments and bring in Kobe Bryant. You hoping that Jalen Johnson can return to his old self. And they drafted a really good player out of Oregon in Dylan Thieneman. So to that point, when you say you don't trust the other defenses in that division, it's a fair point. But here's my point. I don't think they win in the division. I will be absolutely gobsmacked if the Minnesota Vikings win the NFC North. Kyler Murray, he's not the most talented quarterback in this division. I know that doesn't matter, but I just don't have faith that Kyler Murray is going to be able to remain healthy for the Minnesota Vikings. And then when I look at JJ McCarthy, aka 9, I'm not a believer in him either. I think that he was too erratic last season. He had his issues, and I just think that he might fall short of, being a quarterback that they need in Minnesota. And I think that's going to cause some frustration with their best player, at least right now, in Justin Jefferson. So while the argument for having the strongest defense in the division is fair, I don't believe in the quarterback room like many, many people. Will they be well improved? Absolutely. I think they will be much better. They won a decent amount of games last season during all the dysfunction. But to win a division, nah. I honestly, even as a Bears fan, I think the chances of a light schedule given to Detroit, they have a much better chance of winning the division than the Minnesota Vikings. Obviously, as a homer, as a guy that's rooting for his team, would love to see the Chicago Bears go out there and win a division again. But that schedule is significantly tougher, if I'm keeping it real. And then the Chicago Bears will have to go through their lumps, at least just a little bit, you know what I'm saying, defensively, to match up against a defense like the Minnesota Vikings, because we know Brian Flores is definitely going to have those boys ready to go over there in Minnesota. And the last bold prediction I'm going to talk about today is that I actually agree with Ben on. He says the Texans, well, no. Excuse me. We'll talk about it. The Texans will win the AFC was the bold prediction. What I will agree with is that I believe they can and will win the AFC South, because that defense with D'Amico Ryans at the helm, oh my God, it's just too vicious. It's just too vicious over there. The biggest question mark that I believe is going to hold these guys back is CJ Stroud, man. And I hate saying that because he came in with so much promise, and the last 2 seasons was really, really not a good look for CJ Stroud, especially his playoff games. If he literally gives them a solid half and not look like a man that lost his dog, they going to the Super Bowl. You're going to the Super Bowl. And I just don't know if they're going to be a team that's going to be able to offensively depend on CJ Stroud, at least right now. They do have new things happening over there offensively. Hopefully, CJ Stroud went through some rehabilitation with his mental, guys. I think that game, their last playoff game, it was all mental. It was just all in his head, and all he literally had to do was just rise up from the dead. And they would have been in the Super Bowl a week late. Like, they would have played their game in the AFC Championship game and been in the Super Bowl. But unfortunately, I can't buy stock in that right now. I'm not one of those guys that's going to go out there and throw the Chargers name out there, because I'm not really a believer in Justin Herbert and him overcoming. I have to see it first. The excuses has ran out on Justin Herbert for me. I look at the Buffalo Bills. They're always going to be in contention, and I think that's still a strong team. But you really have to look out for a team like the Denver Broncos. Bo Nix, he is really like that, bro. He's a good NFL quarterback. And when you talk about the additions on the defense, Nick Bonita I'm a fan of that pass rusher right there. He come off the edge so viciously. It's just crazy as a football fan to just look how good that defense is. And then you go out there, offensively, after having a really potent offense, and, you trade for Jalen Waddle. I think those are great additions. He coming back off a broken ankle. That's Bo Nix, that is. And I think that he's going to be in prime position to go and help this football team be way more successful this season and potentially get to a Super Bowl, because I would imagine that if he would have matched up versus those Patriots, Bo Nix would have been in that Super Bowl, and that would have been a crazy Super Bowl battle between the Denver Broncos and the Seattle Seahawks. That would have been a hell of a Super Bowl matchup, man. Injuries suck, y'all. Injuries suck. So, yeah, I do have a couple more teams, you know what I'm saying, that's above them in the AFC. But I think I can't buy stock in the CJ Stroud right now, man. I have to see it to believe it. The same thing goes with the Chargers, man. Year after year, we make excuses for the Chargers why Justin Herbert can't get over the hump and win a damn playoff game. So for the sake of discussion, I think that they will win the AFC South, but I can't have them as winners of the AFC to go to the Super Bowl right now. I can't do it. I can't do it. But hey, those are the bold predictions from Ben Solik. I thought those was really, really interesting to discuss for today's episode, man. Y'all definitely drop a bold prediction in the chat, man. Drop a bold prediction for an NFL team or your specific team, and let us know your bold prediction for the 2026 NFL schedule, man. Let us know how y'all think things will play out, and make sure you comment on down below on some of these bold predictions, and go take a look at that article. I think it's really, really interesting. One of them that I didn't really want to spend too much time on is Dak Prescott will pass for 5,000 yards. That's crazy. That's crazy. But Dak is really like that. And I think that offense is going to be potent. It's going to be potent. Man, it's going to be, I can't wait for football, man. I can't wait for football. We getting closer and closer to training camp, and we'll continue to bring you the latest every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday. So lock in, ladies and gentlemen. Make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to the channel, man. But that is it for me. I appreciate y'all. Make sure you always love football. Y'all already know. I'm going to catch y'all on the next one for sure. Peace.
This has